Just a quick live I want to do real quick. Let some of you guys hop up in to the chat. And, you know, I just decided to go live real quick on the cell phone. I wanted to get you guys updated, especially for the membership, on what's about to happen. Hopefully tomorrow. It looks like I should be able to finish what I'm working on by tomorrow. And I know a lot of you guys seen that anxiety video that I just released a little bit ago. If you guys had ever struggled with any of that type of stuff, if you're ever, you know, concerned about any of that stuff, just go ahead and check out that video. I'll show you guys exactly what it is, you know, that I did, like how I felt and how I ultimately got over it. And, you know, now, honestly, I don't really have anything other than excitement towards pretty much everything I do. And going forward, tomorrow, I have put together a gigantic tutorial. It's going to be an hour long for the members. What up, really the barber? Good to see you, man. 19 of you people jumping in here already. Let's get it, man. Sound off in the comments. Where's everybody coming from? How's everybody doing today? And, you know, hopefully you're doing something positive. You're doing something meaningful. And that's kind of what it feels like I'm doing this morning. I have just realized that I put a lot of thought into how I present, how I explain, how I try to teach everybody. When somebody comes to one of my classes, I really try to give them everything I got. I try to break every single thing down that I possibly can. And I have experimented on the people that have attended my class. I don't want to say they're my guinea pigs, but for many years, some of them were my guinea pigs. All right. I realized what it was like the very first. I still remember this vivid memory of one of the very first days teaching at the barber school. I thought, if I just tell them every single thing I know, then they'll be just like me. And they'll go on and, you know, they'll be successful at this, and that'll be the end of it. I quickly realized that, much like the golf swing, if I told you, make sure your left arm straight, put your arm in towards your body, stand with your feet, you know, shoulder. If I tell you too many things, it's only going to succeed in confusing you further. So with that being said, salute to you, George. Appreciate you for jumping in here, man. A lot of you guys jumping in here. So what I've realized is if I tell you guys too many things, I need to simplify it as much as possible. The easiest lessons are those that are communicated in a very simple way. And sometimes the most simple advice can be the hardest to follow as well. So I do see that there's a lot of YouTubers out there that make tutorials, and you guys will watch these tutorials. You'll think, damn, they're good at what they're doing. I'm going to charge into the shop and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it the same way that he did it. And a lot of you guys are just not going to be able to. There's a reason for that. And it's because not all of that is being explained properly. Like these guys who are really good at this, they know how to do things that you don't, like just clipper manipulation. Just like literally, what effect does it have if I got something flat here? What effect does it have if I was to just take this clipper, put it out here from the head and go up the side of the head with the teeth out here? Now, what that's going to do is that's going to soften the guideline a lot. Now, when I got it angled down, now it's going to cut even more. It's going to cut even closer. When I do what I'm calling the lift, tip, and flick, and we're going to talk about this a lot in this tutorial that's coming out tomorrow, 1 hour long of straight fire. I don't really expect anybody to watch this from front to back the entire way through. I'll probably release it publicly for a very short time, but it's going to be a member video because I just can't see YouTube. YouTube ain't going to love the fact that I'm dropping an hour-long piece of haircutting content. I have a feeling it's not going to go that great. So I'm just saying that when you watch tutorials from other barbers who are really good at what they do, they're going to make it look really simple. And the truth is, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. I mean, everybody would do it. So what I've realized when I'm teaching people and explaining things, that a large part of what you guys are missing. Eric Weber, man, thank you for being a member. Appreciate you. Rusty, thank you for being a moderator member and just a good friend. And when I'm teaching people, you guys are missing out on the theory of the haircut. So if I just had a guy right here, right now, and I'm just cutting his hair and I'm doing all this stuff, I'm like, yeah, man, I just use clipper over comb to hammer this out, boom, 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 and I do all that. You're not going to be able to do that because you don't have all the things in place that are going to lead you to the success of that. So in this particular tutorial, I'll show you guys. I actually have 3 different type of diagrams that I make on a very sophisticated piece of equipment called a whiteboard. And you can follow along. You can fill these out on your own with just a pen and a piece of paper. And I really hope you do, because I think it's really going to bring you some serious understanding. And even those of you guys who got it, you know what you're doing, you're cutting hair well, there's going to be something in here for you. I know there will be. There's just so many things that I was able to pick up over 20 years, and I'm really trying to put as much of it as I can into this hour-long video. So with that being said, this is a foot basket man. He's asking, how do I stop taking fades too high? Oh yeah, there's a little profanity in this one too. There's a little profanity in this one too. But how do I stop taking fades too high? That's going to be covered in there as well. It's really about setting your guidelines and making sure that you're working within your parameters. And once you understand how to do that, it's perfect. You're gonna do good work. So another thing too is, like, let's say that I'm teaching you and you start struggling and you call me over and I just take your clippers and I just fix your problem. What I've done here is I've just given you a fish, but I didn't teach you how to fish. And that doesn't make me a good educator or instructor. So what I'm striving to do, as I do in my one-on-one classes or my classes where I just have people there, I usually make them do a fade diagram in the beginning, so that when we do get to that point and they're like, hey Ed, can you come over here and I got a little line right here. What do you think's gonna get it out? So I'm not gonna be there all the time to look over your shoulder. I have to teach you how to fish, not give you a fish. And the truth is, good barbers, they don't really struggle with getting out lines. Lines are not really what you're gonna struggle with when you get good at this. It's them damn pesky dark spots. And that's gonna happen every damn time. So when you get right down to it, if you understand how your equipment works, you're probably not gonna have many lines per se, but you are definitely gonna have uneven spots in your fade. Like, my hair is kind of like real thin on this side, and it's kind of thick on this side. Or maybe it's the other way around, I can't remember. But one side is a bastard for people to fade out. It takes them almost twice as long. And the other side, it goes quick. So Zach Bay says, my biggest thing is setting the guidelines. I try to watch the videos, but then I take it to the head, and it feels like I shouldn't be making them as large of an area as you do. So generally speaking, let's say that we want this fade, like, you know, my haircut right now, one of my barbers cut it yesterday. This guy's phenomenal. I mean, really, it's just a rock solid. His name is Kenny, but he knows how to understand. He understands how to keep this area thick. My hair is kind of fine. It's kind of thinning out, and I can look bald really quick. If you take a number 1 up in here and all this hair disappears, boy, I'm gonna look like I got a mohawk, or I'm gonna look like I'm going bald. So Kenny understands how to compress the fade, and to do that, we're gonna wind up making the guidelines a little bit closer together. That's the main difference. And when you can, if you can stretch them out, like yesterday I did a high fade. I actually wish I wasn't using my phone so I could actually show you some pictures from the high fade, but it was just so easy because I set myself up some nice wide guidelines. You can't even really see where the fade starts or ends. Like, it's just a perfect gradient, and that's not always going to be possible. So there's definitely going to be a little profanity in here. And I was talking about how the customer service in our industry. Let me ask you guys this right now. Let's just do a random exercise. Do you think that you provide good customer service to your clients? Drop a comment, and I'm going to explain something that I've seen a lot in this industry that kind of drives me nuts. All right? Client walks in. It's almost like you're treating them like somehow you're doing them a favor. Client walks in, they're not greeted. They may even be given a dirty look. They've never been to your shop. They don't know how you operate. They're trying to give you business, and you're throwing off a lot of negative vibes their way. And, you know, our shops, most people who are on this video right now, most of you guys don't work for corporations. So when you work for a corporation, like say Supercuts or Sport Clips or Great Clips or whatever, they're going to have these people walking in, and you can offend as many people as you want, and they're going to keep on walking in, right? But when you work for yourself, when you're self-employed, when you actually take your business serious and your business is your primary focus and making sure that everybody is comfortable when they walk in, happy when they leave, having a good experience, talking about the things that they want to talk about, you're gonna make so much more money in a private shop than you would be in one of the corporations where they're gonna make all the money instead of you. So basically, where I'm going with this is you won't find too many barbers who are willing to come out here and just say, you know what, I can work on my customer service. I can make it better. You're going to find a lot of people who are going to say, I provide great customer service. And maybe you do. But you are not going to find a lot of people who are going to say that. And I think we could all work on it a little bit more. When you really look at our industry as a whole, if I walk into some random barbershop in a random state, there's a really good chance that nobody talks to me, especially if it's a shop that maybe the people speak a different language or something like that, or maybe I look different than they do in some way. Maybe you're black and you're walking into a white shop, you're white, you're walking into a black shop. Maybe there's a dynamic in place that, you know, some part of you might not feel super comfortable. It's very possible that you get treated differently. And that shouldn't be. That really shouldn't be. It should be like this. It doesn't matter to me if this client is going to somebody else in this shop. I'm going to learn his name. I'm going to greet him by his name. I'm going to learn a little bit about him while he's in this shop. When he comes here, he's family. And I don't give a shit if he goes to me, Chad, Kenny, Johan. I don't give a shit about none of that. We need to treat the shop like we own it. A lot of you guys yearn to own a shop one day, but a lot of you guys are not going to do the things that you need to do to actually own a shop. If you want to own a shop, you got to treat it like you own it to start with. That means you're cleaning the bathroom. That means you're greeting customers that ain't yours. That means that you're not creating trouble in the barbershop. You're not making people feel uncomfortable. You're not doing things that would hurt your business and give you potentially 1-star reviews or whatever else could happen. You're not going to do things that are going to negatively impact your business. You're going to do things that are going to help you grow that business, help that owner grow that business. And it's when the maturity kicks in, that's when everything starts to change. That's when you're like, you know what? I don't give a shit who this client goes to. I don't care who he went to before, and maybe he don't like the cut. Maybe he found a better chemistry with somebody else. Maybe he used to go to me and he goes to somebody else. I want to let that client know it's okay. I still want you here. What's up, Tim? Good to see you again, man. How's everything going? Like just little things like that can make a big difference. Just saying something to a client, you're not sure if maybe he sits down, it's an appointment shop. This happens to us a lot. Guy comes in, he's got an appointment, he sits down and he doesn't say nothing. It's very important that we figure out right away if this client is being taken care of or not. Because you could be a walk-in and you have no idea. So, you know, guy walks in, hey man, thanks for stopping in. How you doing? Are you already with somebody today? Are you being taken care of? And just a little something like that. And that's, you know, that could go a long way. Just sometimes barbershops can be intimidating places for people to walk into. They're used to being, you know, walking into a place that's like a corporation. They run our whole life. Every place you go into, whether you go into Target, Walmart, Sam's Club, you know, they're used to being kind of treated like a number. They're used to kind of being just treated like they don't matter. And the difference of walking into a local barbershop is you do matter. And if you don't, you should. So that's, you know, that's a really big thing. I had a barber one time tell me, no, I don't clean the bathroom. I'm like, you don't clean the bathroom? He's like, yeah, I don't make a mess. Okay, so your customers, they don't go to that bathroom? So you got moms that bring in their kids, and if they got to use that bathroom, they got to go to the disgusting bathroom? Like, that's not right, right? So when you just think about the common sense of it, and sometimes, like I said in the beginning of this live, common sense can be the most difficult thing to follow. Sometimes what we view as common sense, you know, it ain't always all that common. And I think there's a lot of little things that you guys can be doing. And that's why, like, I kind of developed this FADE acronym. Some of you guys have been watching, you're going to hear about it a little bit. But the FADE acronym kind of goes like this. It's F, find out what the client wants. You're gonna ask questions. You're going to be thorough. You're going to use photos because, like, if you guys are not on the same page and you're thinking you want something different, one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to cut it too short and the client's not going to like it, or you're just going to wind up having to cut it again, which is not good for anybody. A, so it's FADED acronym. So A stands for analyze and adapt. So during this phase, before we even get started cutting any hair, we're gonna analyze the hair. We're looking for growth patterns that are funny, colics that are gonna give us trouble, thick spots, thin spots. Some people have little alopecia areas where they just don't grow hair. Like right now, you're creating a strategy. You're looking to see what's their edge up look like. Am I gonna have to edge this client out? Is it high on one side and low on the other? Because if you got a guy who's got a really bad hairline, right, and his line's all the way down here and all the way up here on one side, if you're gonna edge this up, you start on the high side, you're gonna wind up pushing them up even further. You're gonna make it even worse. So during this analyze phase, this is when you're the professional and you're the person who should be making plans for all of these things. Is this hair gonna stick up, right? So D is just deploy the 6 phases, and that's going through our process. It's a standard process. 6 phases do not need to be used in order. It's just a way to communicate them. And then E, evaluate. If I was to write a book and I submit my first draft to my editor and say, this is the whole book, I'm done. They're gonna look at it, they're gonna see so many mistakes. They're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? We couldn't make a book out of this. You can't even make sense out of this. So we wanna submit to the client our final draft. So when we're doing this evaluation, we're checking to see if the sideburns are level, if he's got sideburns. We're checking to see if there's an issue with the fade. We're making sure that if we cut our hair vertically, we cross-checked horizontally, or vice versa. We're making sure that before we hand him the mirror, and before we show him the haircut, that we've covered everything and we didn't leave anything stupid that he could be like, you know, this side's like way longer than this side. Like you could have caught that if you'd just looked at it. And then the last one is E, or the last one is D, faded. So the last one is just D, deliver a world-class service. And it goes back to the customer service that I've been trying to kind of talk to you guys about a little bit more, because I definitely see this as an area that's kind of an epidemic. Everybody thinks they have great customer service, and the truth is they really, there's some room for improvement in most shops. So Sarah Keaton, she says, my biggest pet peeve, someone comes into the shop and one of my other stylists make my client feel weird about seeing someone else. No, appreciate that they are in the shop and not in your chair. And Zach says, I will say that I'm just a small-time barber, but I'm in a city of 5,000. I will have people coming from 2+ hours away for a regular appointment. That's a great, there's a lot of stories like this where clients are driving. If you got a client driving even more than 5, 6, 7 miles away, you're clearly doing something right. You're giving the client something that they're not going to get somewhere else. If they're coming from 2+ hours away, how many shops would you estimate that they have passed? How many people that have barber licenses that cut hair might they have passed, you know, to go to you? So why would it matter if somebody opened a shop next door for you? It won't. You got people driving from 2.5 hours away. You're clearly exercising good customer service. You're giving them something they can't get somewhere else. And that means that their needs are being met, both skill-wise for the cut. You're giving them the camaraderie they want. You're listening to them. You're giving them, you know, all the support that they need and feel comfortable with you and your shop. So at the end of the day, of course that client is going to come back to you, and it's not going to matter who pops up and has a shop next door. Now, a lot of people are worried in Georgia because Georgia might be removing the barber licensure. So if Senate Bill 354 passes, barbers will no longer need a license in the state of Georgia. There's currently 80,000 licensed individuals in Georgia that do hair. And if this happens, there's going to be a lot more competition there. And this is one of the reasons why I'm getting out front with you guys about building your skill set, building your customer service. And a lot of you guys are sitting back. You want to do shows. You want to get affiliated with a company. You want to make money. You want to start a YouTube channel. You want to do all of these things. But what type of time are you honestly dedicating towards all these things? Like the Wolf of Wall Street. Yo, you're broke. Pick up the phone and start dialing. You got credit card bills. Pick up the phone and start dialing. Well, how about in our own lives? We pick up the clippers and we start cutting. And then we look at all the stuff that we could do on the outer edges of this haircut to make this a better experience for this client. And in our downtime, we are working towards growing our clientele. We're working towards things of positivity. We're working towards, you know, building into those social media platforms if that's what we're after. And we're working towards maybe showing off some of the tools that we're using from a brand or whatever it is that you want to become an ambassador for. So, you know, that's really where we're at with some of this stuff. And, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to come out and talk with you guys about. This is going to be tomorrow when I release this video. It is going to be a very, very nuts and bolts. It's going to be right down to the point of everything you're really going to need to know to really actually cut good hair, but understand it and actually master it. He said, have you ever thought about, Zach Bay says, you ever thought about doing an internship where we can come and learn from you for a week or something? Because he's 2 hours away, but he's got people, he's the one who's got the people driving from 2 hours away, Zach Bays. He says, have you ever thought about doing an internship where we can come learn from you for a week or something? I would pay for this. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I think that I could serve more people by actually doing education. And I'm going to be traveling a lot, doing a lot of education this summer. We have a lot of things lined up. So hopefully I'll be in a city near you or where you can possibly come to one of my classes, and we can, you know, kind of get into the all the ins and outs of this stuff. Wisconsin, okay. I have to look at the docket and see where it is we're all going. But, you know, I'm going to be traveling with Stylecraft Gamma. We're going to be doing a lot of shows this year. And, you know, who knows? I'm not 100% sure exactly all where we're going. But we're definitely going to be going. So it's going to be a really fun year. And, you know, every year I feel like I find like a ceiling in my life, and I'm sure you guys do too. Like sometimes I feel like, you know, when I get to 100,000 subscribers, man, that'll be the ceiling. That'll be the greatest. But then I find ways to try to exceed that ceiling. I'm like, okay, I got that. Now what? And, you know, I want my own shop. I wanted it so bad. I got that. Now what? Like, I don't really know what the ceiling is for me. I don't know what it is for you. But one thing I do know is that the ceiling keeps getting higher and higher for all of us. So as long as we keep our brain focused on doing all the things that we need to do, the rest of it is going to take care of itself. You're going to be rewarded for your hard work in this business. And it's one of the reasons why I left that factory. I worked at a factory for a while. I was just a number. It didn't matter how hard I worked. Like nothing was going to change. Nothing was going to change. I could break my neck working hard, and the guy beside me could do the same thing, and we're both going to get the exact same. We're both going to get the exact same pay at the end of the week. Barbering is not like that at all. This is your own business. You are something special. When you jump out and you do things for your client that nobody else is doing, you're rewarded. When you stay late, you're rewarded. When you go above and beyond for a customer and he recommends you to 3 friends and they recommend you to other, you're rewarded. So, you know, when you provide good customer service, when you show people how to use products appropriately in their hair and they choose to buy those products from you, you're rewarded. There are so many things that you can do in this business. So just keep on pushing. Rusty says he's nearly at 2,000 subscribers. If anybody's in here right now and you guys have not subscribed to Rusty Blades, he's got a YouTube channel. He's also a channel moderator here. He's been very, very helpful to me. Go and show him some love, man. Let's push him over the edge, and you know, let's get him to 2K. And Zach says I'm terrible with social media, and it's not for lack of trying. At the end of the day, there's a lot of resources out here to learn how to get better at social media. But one of the things you really got to worry about is just being stagnant, comparing your work to others. You know, just constantly thinking that you're not good enough. Like, I'm going to say something right now. What do you give a fuck about a bunch of these know-nothings on the internet who don't know shit about cutting hair? You're worried to post to all these people on the internet. Like, are you posting to get clients, or are you posting to try to attract barbers into your chair? There's a very good chance that a lot of you guys are not posting your work because you're afraid of what it might look like to other barbers who view it, or the know-nothing peanut gallery losers who have nothing better to do online than talk shit about other people. I don't care about any of that. Like, I know that what I'm doing is the right thing to be doing. And the beautiful thing about social media is you can make a mistake today and tomorrow you can hit a home run. You know, just looking at doing things differently and continuing to improve. You can do that every single day. And, you know, today you make a video, maybe it sucks. Tomorrow you make it just a little bit better. Where will you be in 100 days? Where will you be in a year? You know, some of us are so short-sighted. We're like, I'm afraid to post this because there's this little mistake and, you know, the rest of the haircut's pretty good. Like, Everybody, yeah, Photoshop warriors, exactly, man. Everybody's out here photoshopping their cuts, putting them up, trying to make people feel inferior. Like, that shit don't matter. Clients don't want that. Like, they're not gonna, like, people are gonna see those photos and they're gonna double click on them and they're gonna get likes and they're gonna get some attention. But is it really any different than women showing their body for money? It's the same stupid thing. Like, you post a picture with a beautiful girl, gets a bunch of likes, but does it make you any money? Does it create any value in the world? Like, no, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. You know, like, it's just senseless stuff. All we need to do is just keep grinding. You know, pick up the phone and start filming. Start making little posts. Start doing little things. You don't want to show your whole haircut? Fine. Take a photo of yourself in process. People who find your profile, they need to understand when they look at your profile that you're a barber, that you're doing this, you're taking this serious. And if you're posting regular stuff around this, then they're gonna see that you're actually making an effort. And some of these people are gonna be your friends. Some of these people are gonna try to, you know, kind of help you out. A lot of people are gonna support you that you may not realize. And, you know, there's a million ways. Like, even if you don't wanna do this in social media world, then do it another way. You know, join some sports organizations, help out with some kids, become a coach, go work with your kids in some of the sports things, and, you know, join a community church, go to some of the functions. I mean, there's a million ways to get your name out there. And I feel thankful that I've been cutting hair since before social media. And I had to do some of that stuff to grow my clientele the first time when I was in New York. So, you know, word of mouth is always going to be the most positive and fastest way to grow your chair. But, you know, don't put yourself in a box and say, like, I can't do social media, because the truth is like, the world is ever changing. The landscape is always changing. We're always going to have to kind of learn how to adapt with some of these changes that are coming. So, like, tomorrow, YouTube is probably going to make a new rule that's going to screw me again, like they have a million times over. And what do I, like, really, at the end of the day, like, what am I supposed to do? The best thing that I could do is make content that feeds and nourishes other people, that makes other people do better with their lives, that gives other people some inspiration, that shows them that, you know, there is a beautiful business here. There's an opportunity for you to grow within this business. And, you know, if you don't like what you're doing, if you're miserable when you go to work every day, if you can't stand it, if you're tired and you want to change and you've thought about doing this, like, yo, the time is now. You know, there's never been more opportunity to learn. There's never been more resources, like, online, that are just totally free, where you can start today. You can start figuring these things out, and you can start making that transition. And for them guys who are sitting back, you guys got barber license and you're working another job, I'm gonna tell you guys, it's very difficult to do this with one foot in. You know, it is so much easier to do this with both feet in. You know, it's like, I'm talking with a guy, he's got two girlfriends, he's going back and forth between both. They've broken up and been together and broken up and been together, and he's not sure which one of these girls he wants to go with. But the truth is, it's actually the third option. If it didn't work and you weren't happy with either of these things, sometimes it's time to just try something new. And that's exactly what this business can be for you. You guys can be into this business like this. You can start growing like this. There's so many resources out here for you that really, if you look in the mirror and you do a little evaluation as to, like, okay, what do I really like? What do I really want out of my life? What do I really want to do? You have to look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you are probably, in all likelihood, the thing that is holding you back. It is not the shop. It is not the business owner who is not advertising for you. It is not all these other things. It's because you have been half-assing it in this business, or you have been half-assing it in your business because you don't love it, which is fine. But you got to look in the mirror and you got to realize that nobody else can solve your problems for you. Only you can solve your problems for you. So at the end of the day, it's both scary and it's a relief, because the relief is I don't have to rely on what somebody else does for me to flourish. I can flourish when I take personal responsibility of what it is that I'm doing. So at the end of the day, you might sit back and be like, you know, the president sucks. This country is going to hell. Everything's all fucked up. But really, even if all that's true, it doesn't make a difference. If you take personal responsibility for your stuff what you can control, what is inside of your world, then, you know, what can stop you? What can hold you back? Nothing, nothing, only you. So at the end of the day, man, sometimes you got to kick yourself in the ass. You got to get up and say, you know what? I'm going to start making this change today. I'm going to put 2 feet in this business, and I'm going to go as hard as I can. And I guarantee you, no matter how much progress you make, it's going to be more than what you made yesterday. And if you continue to do this, just think of how dangerous would you be. I don't know how to edit videos. Well, guess what? I didn't know how to edit videos either. When I first started doing this, you think I knew anything? All I knew was I was a gifted communicator, and I was excellent at cutting hair, and I've taught a lot of people how to cut hair. That was all I knew. Got 130 people up in the house, man. Smash that thumbs up, man. It's probably the most I've ever had in a live. But all I knew is I was a gifted communicator, and I didn't know how to edit videos for nothing. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to put a camera up. I'm going to just start filming. I'll figure it out as I go. And it's exactly what I did. Each video, the first ones, they sucked. One day I should do a reaction from them. The haircut wasn't great. Like, I could go back and pull them apart. And I think barbers are just so quick to criticize themselves. And that might be why they criticize other people so hard. Because they're like, God, if I would have done that, I would have just hated myself for that. Like, you know, all these people out here who don't know shit about haircutting, that want to just leave negative comments and just, you know, rag on people and all this stuff. It's like, bro, don't you got something better to do with your life than look at my shit? Like, go create something on your own. Like, I get negative comments all the time. You know what I do? I just roll it right off my shoulder. I don't give a rat's ass about none of that. I know that everything that I've been doing on this channel has been for the greater good. I know that I've helped probably over 1 million people at this point. And I also know that I'm averaging 400,000 views a month on long form content, which is very difficult to do. And, you know, at the end of the day, sure, there's been some people that have flew by me and grew right in front of me. They did a lot of the same stuff I did and grew even bigger. Yo, good for them, man. I'm happy for them. I'm not mad at their success. I'm not worried about it. I'm in my lane. I'm happy. And, you know, at the end of the day, I'm better than I was yesterday, and I'm still helping people. And I know at the end of the day, too, some of the, like, stupid content that I could make a bunch of dumb content. Like, I could walk into the shop, slap Chad, and Chad beats me up. And that video is going to get 1 million views. But who did it help? It didn't help nobody. It didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, why would I make content like that? How does that help people? That doesn't align with my mission. So when you want to do your social media, you're thinking, I want to get on social media. I want to start doing stuff. I want to get, you know, well known. I want to do all this stuff. Like, I think a good place to start is just to go ahead and ask yourself, what is my core mission? What are my principles? What are my pillars that I believe in my life? And the thing that I'm going to say, you know, for me, the pillars that have been extremely important to me. When I worked at the barber school, I made $20 an hour. When I worked at the barber shop, I'd leave with like $500-600 a day. You know, $20 an hour, if I'm there for 8 hours, it's not much money. All right, I'm taking a beating by going to the barber school and teaching. But I loved seeing that aha moment. I loved helping other people. I loved giving them what I had to just explain to them everything that they were struggling with that I knew how to fix. Like, there was something that nourished my soul in a way that money never could. So at the end of the day, I know that that's what I got to do in life. That's what I got to do in life. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about what I'm doing. I know what my brand pillars are. I know what I'm here to do. And it's Eddie's Army all the way. If you guys want to join the membership program, you guys are going to see some of the great content. It's really going to help you in many different ways. And I'm developing more content as we speak. And we've kept we even had 150 people. We got 150 people up in this live. Let's go, man. So here we go, man. Let's read some of these comments. He said, Bluegrass Blend says, you taught me a lot, man. I've been watching you for years. I appreciate you. He said, Zach says, now here's an equipment question. Would you have had the Instinct stop working, have to put it back on the charger and get it running again? This is with a full battery. What happened with some of the Instincts is the first batch of Instincts, some of them had a issue where they vibrated a little bit too much and it knocked off one of the battery terminals. So they will repair that. If you have that, you could just send that in. They'll take care of that. That should not happen again. And you know, let's check out some of these other content, all the other ones rolling in here, man. I appreciate all the comments. I can't read them all, but you know, back to what I was just saying. If you guys want to help yourself, the first place that you got to start the first place that you got to start is looking in the mirror and just being perfectly honest. Are all the things that I'm doing, do they align with my values? Have I ever written my values out? Have I ever really thought this whole thing through? You know, exactly what do I want to accomplish with this? If you want to get a YouTube channel going or you want to get better at social media, how about you set a goal that looks something like this? I'm going to make 10 videos. And that's it. The goal doesn't have to be, you know, impossible. Now, can you make 10 videos? Every single person that's sitting here in this live is probably watching me on a cell phone. There's 150 of you guys. Pick up your phone and make a video about something. One of the hardest things that I find, like just to share with you guys a personal struggle that I have, is I've made 750 videos probably. It's around that number. So now it becomes harder for me to come up with ideas, right? So I spend a lot of time, you know, I got a tablet right here in front of me. I spend a lot of time typing out scripts, writing down ideas. I might write like 30 ideas. And I'm like, some of these ideas suck. I wouldn't even want to share them with you. So some of these ideas suck, right? But I go through 30 ideas and I'm like, you know what? I'll cross a bunch off and I'll come up with like 3, 4, 5. Some that I'm just like, you know what? These are actually pretty good. These are pretty good. So I got a new product in the mail from Williamsport Barber Supply. It looks like Andis has released a new detachable clipper. I haven't even opened it. I plan on doing my unboxing on Friday or possibly tomorrow. I'll do it here in the studio. But yeah, we're gonna see what that happens. And if you know any of you guys are cutting with a detachable, sound off in the comments. I'm just curious to see how many people are still cutting with them. And if you guys have seen the best clipper, the best detachable clippers of 2024, I did that video and now there's this new one. So I'm kind of curious to see how would it fit into that. And Fatal says he's got one. He says it's dope. And by the way, just a spoiler alert, I felt like the Andis Pulse ZR, I could be having the name a little wrong, but I felt like that Andis one was the best out of that. And it kind of feels strange saying that Andis created something good, but they did. And I'm never gonna downplay a company when they're doing something good, because I feel like, you know, Andis might have been ignoring barbers for a while, but I feel like they're trying to do something. You know, it's just, will they be able to do something, and will it be too late? And the funny thing about Andis is all they had to do was not do nothing. I mean, they could have kept the regular purple magnetic guards and not discontinued them or changed them out to one that we all didn't like. And they could have kept the Fat Master blade. There's a lot of things that they could have done that would have helped them. But they just, you know, for whatever reason, I'm not sure who they're listening to or consulting with, but it's not the right people. So sometimes I feel like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of businesses that just take bad advice from people who are not actually in our industry. When you know what it's like to actually hold the tool, to use the tool, you know what it was like when you bought it, you remember what you paid, you remember how long it lasted and how it cut and what it performed like and what your initial thoughts are. There's something so powerful and in that, and you're never going to forget that. And when you're dealing with salespeople, which I have on many occasions, I've been at a lot of these B2B shows, and you'll see that, you know, it's very, very difficult for them to understand the business the way that we do. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's another avenue that any of you guys can get into. Any of you guys can become brand ambassadors. You can start working with brands. You can start doing things. And it really doesn't take as much as you might think. You might be sitting back like, God, maybe you only got 1,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you start to get the attention of the brand and you're starting to show that you're using some of the stuff, let me ask you guys something. Do you think a brand's sitting back and they're like, we want to pay top dollar and not get a lot of ROI and hire the most expensive influencer we can find? Some of them do this, but that's not really what these brands are thinking. They're thinking, who is the next, you know, who's the next guy that's likely to blow up and to pop? So they're looking at this like, okay, one of you guys is going to be really popular online if you keep posting. One of you guys is going to blow up. So at the end of the day, they're just sitting back and they're like, you know what? It's a small thing really to send you a clipper. It's a small thing to have you a little bit more connected with our brand. It's a small thing to set you up with a code. Like, they're willing to do all these things, you know, and all you have to do is have the courage to reach out, you know? So I'm reading some of these comments about the detachables. Looks like some of you guys are using some detachables. Andis has to adapt with the Wahl 2-hole system, and then bam, they're back in the game. He said, if you think about it, they're sitting over their own. He said they're sitting over there on their own, not using the standard Wahl 2-hole system. I mean, that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. There's nobody behind me. There's nobody behind me, hopefully, unless we got a ghost in the house. But I'm actually just sitting here on my cell phone in my little mock-up studio, which is something that you guys could all do too. So with that being said, man, I got to get out of here. I love you all, man. I appreciate this for being a great and productive live. And you guys had, a ton of people join me. I think that might be the first time I've ever had 150 people rocking with me live. Smash that thumbs up on the way out, man. You guys are all a real one for hanging out in here. I'll read this last comment. He said, Mohican, if you want the barbers I respect most, my kid's now learning from you. Your videos helped him a lot. He's only 15 years old. Thank you for your barber knowledge. Real barbers never quit. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Rakeen Sheeny says, Jesus is behind you, man. Love you, man. For sure, for sure. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I got Jesus tattooed on my side, so, that's what's up. So I appreciate you guys all. I will let you guys go. And, yeah, tomorrow, hopefully, if everything goes well, the video is an hour long. I worked on it for like 5 hours, 6 hours today. Actually, 10, I think. And, yeah, I should be able to get this out to the members quickly as possible. So no matter what, we got an upload coming tomorrow. All right? I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out of here.